Hi, Derek here of Mckenzie Friend Consultants. Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to cover one of the most serious and hideous aspects of the family cult, and that's the truth behind parental alienation. Now, you're probably here because your callous ex-wife is preventing you from seeing your children, and to make matters worse, is now on a campaign of hatred to turn them against you. There is absolutely no stopping your ex on her mission, and the family cult is completely ill-equipped to deal with it. And that's despite the considerable damage that it brings to your children, both now and, unfortunately, well into the future. Now, just before we get into this parent alienation video, if you feel this video is helpful, then do subscribe by hitting the button below, and you'll probably find my other videos useful. Today we will cover what parent alienation is, how it's described by the professionals, and how the family cult deals with it, or to be totally true, fails miserably to handle it to the detriment of your children. And in my next video, we focus on what can be done about it and an approach to counter this abhorrent behaviour and the malaise of the family cult. So let's begin by looking how parent alienation is defined by the professionals. In February 2020, parental alienation was recognised by the House of Commons, and in their paper they defined parental alienation as an attempt by one parent to manipulate the child so that they too share their own dislikes of the other parent. And Cafcass defined parental alienation as when a child's resistance to one parent is not justified and is manipulated by the other parent. The truth of the matter is that parental alienation is the resident parent, which is typically, but not always, the mother, demonising the father in front of the children, which over time turns them against their own father. Your children are already fragile due to the breakup of their parents, and their children's lives are now being wrecked by their own mother. So, how did the family cult deal with this? They rely on advice from their wonderful cult advisors, Cafcass, who rely on their child impact assessment framework, which includes a guidance for parental alienation. Unfortunately, this is totally flawed and unfit for purpose. If a child is resisting contact with a parent, Cafcass will only consider other factors, which may include parental alienation, if there isn't a justifiable reason for resisting contact. These other justifiable reasons include if the child may have been harmed by that parent, which is understandable, due to affinity or alignment issues, attachment issues, or conflict between the parents. Well, of course there are affinity issues and alignment issues if the child is being alienated. However, Cafcass in their wisdom have separated such issues from parental alienation. And of course there's going to be conflict between the parents if one parent has stopped all contact for the other parent. So, the alienating parent has now been weaponised by Cafcass's own guidance and can simply pick one or two items from the Cafcass list. All they have to do is claim that they are doing everything possible to encourage little Sarah to see her father. However, due to the conflict caused by your hostile behaviour, little Sarah has attachment issues. Well, that ticks two of the boxes, and as such, parental alienation will not even be considered to be a factor according to the Cafcass guidance. as there is now a totally justifiable reason for little Sarah's resistance to see her father. So, that's how Cafcass, and as a result, the family court view and deal with parental alienation. It is simply swept under the carpet. Well, let's now take a look at what the real experts that specialise in this field say. Dr. Jennifer Harmon, who is a professor in psychology, will tell you that there are 18 negative identifiable behaviours that can be associated with parental alienation. And in cases where a parent showed 7 or more of these behaviours, the other parent was severely alienated by their children. So, where are these 18 behaviours on Cafcass's checklist? I can tell you, they simply don't exist. Dr. Harmon goes on to say that parental alienation is child abuse and very harmful and damaging to that child. Furthermore, that 47% of parents that were targeted by parental alienation had post-traumatic stress symptoms and are the victims of domestic violence, as the intent of the behaviour is to harm the other parent. Wow, why aren't our family courts listening and paying attention to this? Karen Woodhull, who is a psychotherapist, will tell you that parental alienation has existed for many decades. It is only when the child comes into their young adulthood do the gravest consequences for what they have been forced to do comes to light. Dr. Stephen Miller, who is an eminent psychologist, will tell you that when you see a child then rejecting one parent, especially strongly, and that child is strongly aligned with the other parent, that is probably an alienated child and not an estranged one. Parental alienation requires certain types of thinking that are not commonly taught to professionals. Some advanced medical concepts, such as reasoning backwards from effect to cause, and conditional probability, which is the probability of one event given that another event has already occurred. It requires special expertise, and that expertise is not very common in people that deal with these cases. He goes on to state that parental alienation is evidence-based science, and it's important to distinguish between science and speculation and ideology. If the professional doesn't have speciality level pattern recognition and specialised expertise, then they're liable to make some very important mistakes and miss the important patterns. If the professional is using intuition even when they know they shouldn't, then they tend to have great confidence in their incorrect conclusions. Well, Cafcass have no evidence-based science. They simply have a highly flawed checklist. The sad reality is that they are not experts in this field, and as Dr. Miller tells us, they are basically using intuition, and they will have complete confidence in their incorrect conclusion, which the court trusts and believes. Well, that is to the detriment of your relationship with your child and extremely harmful to your children and you. So, what can you do? It's extremely difficult to get your voice heard and for the court to listen to your claims of parental alienation. And in the few instances of when they actually do, what is the real outcome? I can tell you that, as previously mentioned, it is rare for Cafcass to go down this route. It's much easier to paint the non-resident father of being a domestic abuser simply based on false allegations made by the mother without a shred of evidence being presented. Despite Cafcass having the so-called duty of care for your child, they are very reluctant to seriously consider the possibility of parental alienation and the significant ramifications that it has for your child. I have though been involved with a handful of cases where there has been a level of recognition. In one case, Cafcass recognised that there was a degree of parental alienation. They didn't, however, support a fact-finding hearing as we requested, as they felt that the court had limited power to act upon it, and in the interest of the child, it would be better served if the court simply directed the mother to encourage contact with her father. And the court did indeed direct the mother to encourage the children to see their father. Well, at the remaining hearings, the mother simply explained that despite trying so hard to encourage the children, they still refused to see their father. Well, shame on the court and shame on that Cafcass officer. I have also experienced a judge at the end of a very long protracted case finally concede that it was a moderate level of parental alienation. He apologised to the non-resident father for the court not making findings earlier. But as the child was now 13, he couldn't possibly force a 13-year-old headstrong boy to see his father if he didn't wish to, and made the final order for indirect contact once every 3 months. Come on! But there is better news in a few cases. In one case, when a mother said that she had tried everything possible to encourage little 10-year-old Bobby to see his father, he has nightmares the night before and refuses to get in the car to visit his father. The judge responded by saying that as the mother, you must parent your child appropriately and make sure that little Bobby gets in the car and sees his father, and I strongly suggest that you clearly follow the advice that I am giving you in court today. I also have one case where the resident mother was clearly discouraging contact with the father, and that's despite her denials. The judge turned to the non-resident father and asked him, if your daughter was to live with you, what would be your position in respect to spending time with mum? The father very sensibly responded, saying that he would ensure that his daughter spends time with mum, as I feel it is important that she has a good and loving relationship with both parents. The judge said, so do I. And as far as I can see, the only way that your daughter can have a full relationship with both parents is for her to live with father and spend time with mother. And he therefore ordered a change of residence for the young daughter to live with father. That's rare. However, with a strong judge, it is not beyond the realms of possibility. Well, it's good to end on a positive note, and in my next video I will cover the steps that you can take to significantly increase the chances of the court listening to your claim of parental alienation. If you'd like assistance or have a chat about your case, then go to www.mckenzieFriendConsultants.co.uk and book your free consultancy with me. That's it for today. If you found my video helpful, then hit the subscribe button below, as you'll probably find my other short videos really useful. Bye for now, and until my next video.